Lloyd from NoCritsGiven, and I've been chosen to do this video promo of my own free will. Before I start, I'd like to thank our DM, amazing DM, Ben, for his work on this campaign, and he is truly a shining example of what we can all achieve with enough effort. Our first sponsor is Armclass. Yay! For amazing hand-drawn character sheets, head over to armorclass.co/NoCritsGiven for your 10% off your order. I'd show you mine, but it's locked away inside someone's house with my passport. Our second sponsor is Mini Megastore. For all your tabletop needs, including cool minis and source material, head to minimegastore.com/NoCritsGiven for 10% off. It's going well. Yeah. Okay. It's just a shame that there isn't a code for a nicer DM out there. It's a joke. No, Ben, no.
Hello everybody and welcome back to NoCritsGiven, welcome back to Deadfire, A New Dawn. I believe we're on episode 12 now, guys. We are barreling along with this narrative. My name is Ben, I am your Dungeon Master and your guide through this world of piracy. Hello. I'm gonna go for Cauld. Hello, Cauld. You alright?
I don't know where I came from.
You alright?
So
You okay? Yeah. We've literally just had a 10-minute get it out of your systems.
I genuinely struggled to keep that in.
And you still didn't.
You still didn't do it! Well, yeah, welcome back to episode 12. We are in the aftermath of a pretty big and pretty intense battle that we had in the last episode. But before we jump into what happens next, let's meet the guys. Let's go around the usual way that we go. We're with Josh Hames, Lou Jackson, Lloyd Curtis, Jamie Docherty, and my good friend and business partner, Captain Zho-Zho himself. It's alright, because I control the cameras, I just won't put that on shot.
I was actually going to say, shouldn't you have the better camera now?
No. Joe Smith, everybody, it's Joe Smith. Right, in our last episode, we, like I said, we finished off a pretty, our first two-part combat that we've had to do due to it being quite intense. Where our crew were against all odds, 4 of the party going down and being revived in the process, but managed to overcome Lady Fairbrook and the Obsidian Federation forces at Port Mandalay. We are going to join back up exactly where we left off, with the guys still stood in the arena they have just been fighting in. So you've got Lady Fairbrook, who is helpless on the floor. She's fallen out of her, I'm going to call it a wheelchair for the sake of it. I hate saying the phrase mobile throne. But she's fallen out of her wheelchair, she's on the floor, she cannot move. She can move her arms, but what the fuck was that? Governor Fairbrook, Tyrant Fairbrook, has taken off her spellcasting focus, stripped her of anything worthwhile. So she is completely powerless. He's currently sort of stood a bit away from her, quite zoned in on watching her, quite sort of stalwart in his sort of stance. He's very focused on her. He's breathing quite heavy. You can see sort of scars and the marks of battle all over him. The body of Balthasar Romero is over by the entrance where it was left after, I think it was Chiron. Did you kill him in the end?
No, was it me? No, unicorn.
Was it you and the unicorn?
Oh, yeah, he got.
No, the unicorn disapparated.
Zho-Zho, did you down him?
I think someone downed him.
Somebody downed him and then you stomped him, didn't you?
Yeah. But his body's on the floor regardless, guys. It's there. It's also been searched. I think, Chiron, you took his weapon to Zho-Zho. Grexis has dropped his wall of force and has gathered up the remaining forces, got them sort of not tied up but stripped of all their materials, all their weapons and stuff. They are in a corner sort of cowering for their lives as they believe they've fucked up and they're going to be killed. So Critchley is going to stand. He will close his eyes, start muttering under his breath as you see a breeze start sort of whipping up around him. A few seconds later that breeze sort of grows and grows and manifests into this sort of whirling sort of cyclone tornado thing around him as it starts to build up and build up and build up. And after a few seconds, 7 bottles appear levitating in the air before him, and as he opens his eyes, you see his eyes are bloodshot, red, almost electricity sparkling in them, but in sort of that red, violent way, as every single body in the area that has been killed or downed starts oozing blood into the air, as one by one the 7 bottles fill back up. He will, still with the wind whipping around him and the lightning in the air, pick them one by one and put them into his cloak, and immediately drop his spell. Happy. He will turn to look at all of you and go, "Is everybody alright? Does anyone need healing? Are we all good? What's going on?"
Come back and go in and go. Nice ballsy you got there. Can I have one, please?
Do you need healing?
I will do.
Are you asking to buy one of my bottles?
I'm asking for one of your balls.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you one of my bottles.
Why not?
In my bottles. I can heal you with one of my bottles. Oh,
Well,
you.
let's call it
Well,
entertainment.
While this conversation happens, Cole's wrapped around his shoulders. He's going.
I will eventually need that, or the team will need that. So think of it as a future payment.
so much pain. Help me.
Okay, I'm not sure. Obviously, we've had a very big battle. We've had a very big ordeal. I'm not sure you saw the intricacies of how I work, but I need to cast a spell in order to heal you. I can't simply hand you this bottle of blood and then you drink that at a later date and hope that it will heal you.
Ah.
Are we on the same wavelength? Are we good?
So you're telling me that wasn't a healing potion?
No.
Oh.
What? Give me a perception check.
I think I have disadvantage on rolls. Ability roll, isn't
It is, and you're still tired.
it?
Yeah, do me a perception.
5.
5. So, he's going to look at you and go, were you watching when I just filled the bottles?
I've seen you throw the bottles in the heal, so I thought they were just healing potions.
Ah, no, right. They're not. It's not quite that simple. I can manipulate the blood of people who have taken injuries or died, and then use that to power healing spells. So, again,
Do
your
you have any healing spells?
spells.
Healing
I've got lots of
potions.
healing spells. Yes,
Please heal me.
healing potions. No, but I'm sure if you head down to our infirmary, they might be able to sell you some, give you some, award you some, steal some. I don't know. I don't know whether.
With Cauld wrapped around me,
Yeah.
obviously still very traumatised by the event, I'm going to walk over to this ensuing diabolical conversation that's going on. And gesture, would you mind? I'm going to look at my comrade here. He's
Critchley
I'm
will.
more concerned of his mental health than his physical ailments at the moment, but I think it might put his mind at rest if you just...
We are going to hard cut to a montage of Cauld going through a serious series of therapy for the next 6 months. Just having one-to-one sessions with Critchley, talking about... No.
If you want to roleplay that,
It's just where Critchley turns around and goes, "Here, take this healing potion."
We'll do that on No Crits Extra.
yeah, right.
Of course, he will sort of nod to Matryn in a confused way and say, how badly are you hurt, sir?
On a scale of 1 to 10, very.
Okay. I may not be able to fully heal you, but I can get you to a point where you may feel a bit more with it, shall we say.
Please.
He will reach into his pocket and produce 3 of the bottles that he made, and sort of walk over, gesture for you to open your mouth as he tries to pour 3 bottles into your mouth. At the same time, will be muttering under his breath a curse, an enchantment, as he empties 3 bottles of... Do me a perception check.
Me?
Yeah, I want to see if you saw what he did as well before this.
Well.
Have you ever watched Bruno?
So that's a 9 for an 8.
8. I'm going to say no. You didn't see what you saw him casting the spell, but not what happened. So you're unaware that these are vials of blood. But he will pour 3 of these bottles of this thick red fluid into your mouth. asking you to swallow it. And as he makes his enchantment under his mouth, and you will get 30 points of healing.
Oh, nice.
Yes?
Before he gets hit, after he's done that, can I ask him if he can heal any of my exhaustion? Because I can just be like, I'm so tired. Because I've seen Cauld being really tired. Because I've seen Cauld being really tired from being really hurt. In my head, I'm like, this is a guy that can help me with my tiredness.
What level of exhaustion are you on?
I am on level 4 exhaustion.
Oh my god!
He was on 3.
Fucking
I
hell!
know I am on 3.
Fucking hell! You are on 3rd level of exhaustion. He will say, yeah, well, now this is actually something I can help you with. And he will produce one of the vials. But instead of asking you to drink it, he will hold it between his hands and sort of close his eyes as a sort of miniature version of that wind and lightning, and that sparks around him again. And the fluid inside starts to bubble a little bit and change into this sort of dark crimson colour with flashes of lightning inside it. And he'll say, you'll need to drink this right away.
5th edition energy drink.
Do me, what health are you on?
I am on 47 out of 70.
That's fine. Do me a constitution help saving throw then.
And then add another.
That's an ability check, isn't it?
It's a saving throw. No, it's a
Is he going
saving
to
throw.
get heart palpitations and jitters?
Disadvantage on saving throws at 3rd level of exhaustion.
Okay.
8 plus my 5, that gives me 13.
So you are going to get a level of exhaustion taken off you, but you will take 7 points of damage.
Not doing.
Fantastic.
Worth it, though, isn't it?
Worth it.
After he's done that, can I give him 2 gold pieces? Just
He will gratefully take 2 gold pieces off you, and in a sort of sleight of hand bit of magic, will make them disappear. Zho-Zho cannot fucking believe it.
Anyone else seen this guy?
In this moment after battle, everything's been looted. Is there anything immediately what people want to do now while people are still on the battlefield? Remember, everyone is a bit tired, everyone's a bit knackered, just after battle. Do you want to do anything right now?
I'm going to go over to Fairbrook.
Yep.
Is he still
His eyes locked on his wife.
watching her
Yeah.
on the floor?
He's sort of not in a trance, but very somber look on his face, a very serious nature, you can tell he's a man deep in thought while watching the woman that's turned his life into hell.
I'm going to sort of approach him. So if he's got his back to me, we'll approach from that sort of way from behind him and stand sort of like shoulder width apart.
Yep.
I have a couple of questions for you, Governor Sedgewick.
He will sort of not snap out of it, but he will, for the first time in a few minutes, break his gaze on her, sort of nod to Grexis to watch her, still very mistrusting of his former, wife. Yeah, they ain't been through divorce court yet. And go
Typhus is floating nearby.
floating nearby. Captain Zho-Zho.
What do you plan to do with the surplus Obsidian Federation then?
That will be a decision for the people of this port. I believe I'm a fair man, and while I do understand that the actions of these men were not their own. They must still answer for them.
Right.
Do you have a suggestion yourself?
I was simply thinking the idea of I would hate for you to become the rightful governor of this place again and end up causing more people wanting to come and stab you in the back. I was just going to suggest severance pay and a boat away from here.
Duly noted. I am not my wife. I will not rule with an iron fist. The people will speak.
As well, if it's not too rude, and we've already been there, so we kind of know the layout. But I was wondering if you'd mind putting me and my crew up in your fortress for a minute.
His demeanour will break a little bit more as he takes a breath and sort of nods, sort of not paying you no attention, but nods to Grexis to sort of take her away and say after the assistance and the reality check that you and your men and my son have given me, this place may be considered your home until you decide otherwise. You have control of my fort.
I will put a hand on his shoulder and say, "You're a good man, Fairbrook. You're a good man."
I beg to differ. And he will turn to walk with Grexis towards into the fort. Anything else now, or are we heading into the fort?
As he's just walking off, can I shout to him, going, "Is there any flagons of ale? I couldn't buy one the other day."
Instead of looking at you, he will turn to look at your captain and just nod and walk in, knowing that's a deal with this. Anyone else?
Cauld now, functioning a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Will just try and help her out with that as well as best he can.
Yeah.
Probably not doing anything,
No.
but doing what he thinks would be helpful to probably get people's way.
So, in very typical video game way, when you defeat a fort and suddenly, oh, this is now a nice fort with a fully populated army.
Suddenly there's flowers.
And it's like nothing's burning anymore. Like what? No. There's not going to be a sudden, oh, this is a fully occupied fort with a Fairbrook had some men at his disposal. They're going to help where they can, but this is still a very depleted fort. But they are going to round up the prisoners like Grexis did, march them down to the cells. Grexis himself will march Lady Fairbrook, not putting in her wheels, but will sort of fireman's carry her over his shoulder in a very, not rough, he's still a gentleman, but in a very disrespectful showing to the people of Mandalay that she has been imprisoned. And as you all walk into the fort, you're going to now have a bit of a minute to do anything you need to do. This is a fully functioning fort. There are men that worked here that weren't necessarily Obsidian Federation men. They were just men that worked here. So they're still here. So it is a fully functioning fort. It's just the forces behind it, the armies, the military, is a little bit depleted.
Typhus is going to slowly walk to what was his childhood bedroom, just to see whether A, it's still in the same condition he left it in, and B, just out of, I need a bit of space, I'm just going to go wander off. And
You make your way through the fort in... Whereas before, when you were sneaking in, it was very dark, it was very gloomy, you were trying to be unseen. Now you've walked in the front door, memories come flooding back. You know where the kitchens are, you know where your bedroom is, you know where your father's office is, you know where there's a reception chamber where he would deal with matters like a king, but not a king, like a governor. You make your way upstairs through a few sort of back secret passageways that you believe that as a kid only you knew about, and you make it to your bedroom. And as you open the door, you see the room. Initially, you think this room is exactly how I left it, how you had it decorated as a child, the things your mother made you have on the wall, the books your mother made you read on the bookcase, royal bedding, because that's what everyone at your level had. Apart from one major thing, the room has been completely ripped apart and destroyed. So then books are all over the floor, the bed's been ripped up, the bed's on its end, bookcases are over, where somebody has clearly been in originally to search for things, any clue, anything you might have left when you might have left behind when you left. But then maybe more recently, as a form of therapy, so they've been coming in here and just destroying things to make themselves feel better. You can see the clear mark of weapons that are in the wall, or hammers that have been chucked about. This room has been disrespected, it has been destroyed, yet it doesn't seem like anything's been taken.
Oh, you're in that room.
And I think Typhus just won.
Oh, that's right, yeah, never mind. Yeah.
with a slight sense of satisfaction knowing that he pissed his mother off that badly, he's just going to look round and remember all the things that he actually enjoyed from there, so most of the stuff that his father gave him.
Yeah.
Then turn around close the door, and with the full intention to never open it again.
Does anyone else want to do anything?
Can I head to the local tavern, seeing as Fairbrooke didn't give me an answer on my ale? And I really want this ale, because I've been asking for ale for days now.
The local tavern that was being run by Trick.
Yeah, the one that doesn't have a tavern key as well.
Was it being run by Trick? I thought it was being run by someone else from Trick met us there.
No, Trick was running it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That tavern was probably on fire. Big cannon hole in it.
This makes the job a lot easier then. Can I go to said tavern and try and steal some ale out of it? Like a big, cask of ale?
Yeah. You know where it is. You went there earlier that day. You started off your adventure here in Port Manley.
Is it still the same day?
Yeah, it's just overnight.
Oh, Jesus.
It's literally, it will soon be dawn on the next morning.
It'll be a new door.
Oh.
Thank you for watching, guys.
So Matryn hasn't had ale for a grand total of 6 hours.
Yeah.
And it's showing. You go down there, you go down back to, a couple of hours later, so you decide that nobody's brought you this ale. So you head down, back out the front, sort of talk your way past the guards. They know who you are. You've sort of been given the freedom of, all of you have been given the freedom of the port. And when you get down back to the town square, one very, very important thing occurs to you. Two things occur to you about the tavern and about where you were fighting. Maybe 3, depends how you take it. The first one is that the tavern was in the town square. You arrived at the town square, you saw the people queuing for food, and then you went to the tavern that was there. The second thing was that everything in the town square was on fire when you were fighting. And the third thing being, well, nobody put that fire out. So you can see the smouldering remains of what used to be the town square, and Trick's tavern is there, seemingly falling apart.
Can I just stare gazingly into it and just thinking about all that beer and alcohol and rum and everything that's just been gone up in flames, and I'm just stood there. Just watching. And I'm trying to think in my brain, where would there be some more ale?
Do me an...
Hit me some checks.
No.
Disadvantage.
Go to sleep.
It wouldn't help. It would.
It would at this point.
Level is only half speed.
Do me
Yeah, but
an
if you long rest it, get rid of one, wouldn't it?
perception or investigation.
Better than 2.
We'll go
Have
for
2
perception.
long rests. Yeah, do 2 long rests.
We'll prolong the journey for Matryn.
10.
I'll explain long rests in terms of Matryn getting over stuff in a minute.
10.
10. On a 10, you're stood looking through what used to be a window. It's just like a burnt remains of this wooden building. The window's fallen out. There is still a little bit of a wall, and there's a little bit of frame. Because Matryn's clever, you're still looking through the empty gap. And you're looking in there, and you're thinking, where can I get some drink from? Where can I just get a flagon of ale? Because I desperately, desperately need it. And nothing comes to mind. You're very confused as to where in this town, apart from this place, you could have found some ale.
I'm still in the town square as well.
You're in the town. You gone with him? You just
Yeah.
back out. Okay.
So everyone's doing their own thing. I'm going to go and find... If I wasn't there, I'm going to go find him.
Yeah.
See him stood, gazing, almost trying to smell the odour of the evaporating alcohol that's left.
Yeah.
Sours. No problems, guys. We don't.
Yeah. Standing next to him. Matryn, why don't you go find our comrades on the New Dawn, get them to pull into port, make sure everything's okay, and I'm sure there'll be something on board you can drink.
Straight away, Captain.
If you can't find anything in the kitchen or in your own quarters, please feel free to go into mine. Help yourself to whatever I have.
I couldn't do that, Captain. I couldn't go to your quarters, and I wouldn't want to.
So it's already packed up.
I wouldn't want to upset Cauld by entering his kitchen. However, one of the gentlemen on board may not be so respectful. And you just see him turn, like you said, walking backwards, and he just goes, pew, and just gone down the road.
Is there anything else you want to do in the town square as you come back out?
No, because most of it's on fire.
Yep. Well, it's still on fire, but it's on like the remains, the end. It's been a couple of hours. It's burning away, smouldering.
The bonfire.
Yeah.
Go home.
I was going to say, was there a blacksmith in the town square? I don't think
Not
I
in
saw
the
on
not
way.
in the town square. There's not a blacksmith. Is Chiron needing one?
I was going to go see if I could find some equipment. Yeah.
There's a fully functional fort.
Is there one in the fort? I don't
Yep.
know if there'd be one
There is-
stationed at the fort or if it would be a separate building or.
So like the fort is very much a like its own separate thing. I don't like referencing other games, but you know in The Witcher 3 when you get to the Bloody Barons bit and there's the town
Yeah.
and then there's his bit,
Yeah.
bit like that. Like
Okay.
there is the town below the town square that's on fire, but then inside the walls of the fort there is another courtyard that's got a
That's
stable,
where
it's got a
the
blacksmith,
smith,
then there's a kitchen down to obviously provide the fort with food. There are multiple entrances for supplies. So there is a fully functioning.
That's fine.
Can I go to him now?
Yeah, if that's okay.
You head as everybody dissipates to do their thing. You head down some stairs back out to the courtyard where you, on your way in earlier, you remember seeing an anvil maybe outside. It's very an open plan. There's not like a separate building. It's just like imagine a big stable, but part of it's got that in. And as you walk over, there's a very sort of haunch old man with like a big bristly beard that's all covered. It's black. Might not have been black to begin with. It's just it's, at a certain point, washing soot out of your sash is pointless. He's got like a very dirty apron over the top of his clothes. Oh, yes.
I was just wondering what sort of equipment you have for sale. I'm not sure how well stocked you'll be at this point in time.
Well, I've got quite a few bits. It's a bit of an odd situation in that yes, while the people and the forces that operate here, let's say, had questionable methods and morals, they also needed weapons, so kept me in business. What are you after?
I'm looking to maybe purchase some better armour or a shield than what I currently have.
Okay. What sort of level armour are we looking at?
I need it to be medium armour.
Medium?
Yeah. It has to be better than the scale mail that I'm currently wearing.
Better than scale mail. He sort of peers off into the distance while he strokes his beard and tash a little bit. Better than scale mail. I might have a breastplate in the back somewhere. I remember we made one a while ago, but I don't know if it ever got picked up.
Okay. Sorry, just thingy. I couldn't remember if breastplate was medium or heavy.
Breastplate is medium,
Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's
according to my list.
Yeah. Then if you have that breastplate laying about, would it be up for purchasing?
I can't see why not. 1 second. He turns off to like a back room and just starts yelling. Like, hey! What's out here now? And then a few seconds later, the smallest dwarf, and I mean small by dwarf standards, skinny, scrawny.
What, like gnome size?
No, yeah, more to the point where you think, is a gnome like wearing a full set of fort sort of gear, like he's been crafting, struggling to carry it, coming out and goes, "What?" And he goes, "Get the we've still got a breastplate. Go and find me that breastplate." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, right away." And he goes, "Yeah, well, apparently we've still got it."
Yeah. How much would it be to purchase it?
He sort of pauses again and ponders and goes, You want a Zho-Zho's lot?"
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Thank you for the help. Appreciated. For you, sir, it's a measly 300 gold pieces.
Yeah, sounds fair to me. I'll
Sorted.
give you an extra 50 on top of that.
Well, it seems the Obsidian Federation aren't the highest paying clients around, are they? And as he comes down, that scrawny little guy fucking comes in. Still got the full armour on, now sort of balancing a breastplate. Sort of You know, like the most awkward way you can carry something. You're thinking there's 15 different ways you could have carried this. You picked the worst one. And he's,
they do this is like off his hip.
yes, he's like leaning one side trying to rest it on himself.
Like trying to carry a car seat.
Yeah. They are fucking impossible to carry, they are, aren't they? And he gets just out into the front and just drops it onto the floor in front of you. It's nothing special. It's nothing. It's just a very well made breastplate.
And do you have any shields that would offer me better protection than what I currently have?
Shields aren't really my forte, I'm afraid. I can put one together, but in terms of being better than what you've currently got,
Okay.
I'm unsure.
Okay. I'm just trying to think. What I'll do then is, while I'm there, I'll obviously take the breastplate.
Mhm.
I'll take off my scale mail while I'm there, and I'll just hand him it and be like, if anybody, add this to your inventory, you know, and just let him take the scale mail for free.
For free?
Yeah.
Well, you are a scholar and a gent, sir. Thank you very much.
And I'll wish him well, and I'll head back off to find the rest.
Cool. As you leave, he sort of takes the scale mail and immediately just puts it on the small guy, the small dwarf, and goes, "Put that in the back for me." And he sort of, for fuck's sake, hates it, but has been an apprentice here for years and can't get out of his contract.
How many shit hear that load of business, isn't it?
I'm not trying to get out of a contract.
Just because my head shields aren't my forte, and then someone going, "This is quite a nice forte."
Thank you for nobody making that joke. Does anybody else want to do anything? Hello, Cauld. Do you want to do something? You're staying away. You didn't say it.
He did say
Yeah, but you needed to say shit. I was going to go there.
it. I think he's just gonna go to bed.
Yeah?
Like he wants to help. He's gonna try and like find a kitchen to try. He needs the purpose of
Falling back on what he knows to find normality.
yeah, because he's not the greatest of spaces mentally. So he's gonna try and find a kitchen, try and find something to do, and then probably fall asleep during meal prep.
So there is a kitchen. You, of course, can go and find the kitchen. It is down, not quite dungeon or basement level, but kitchens are usually historically quite low, so they've got access to larders and cool places to keep food cool. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. No, I'm not, apparently. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, you find that. You go in there and you find a number of like cooks and chefs and serving maids and everything just running around trying to get food ready for seemingly be the new governor, the old governor. It's like Big Sam's been rehired again, isn't it? Nobody else gets that. Anyone who likes football knows that reference. Do you want to do anything specific while you're in there?
Yeah, just gauge. Just ask people how they are.
They are very, very busy. Like an hour ago, they were getting ready for breakfast, and then there's been a complete management change during breakfast prep. So now everybody that's worked here for years is trying to remember what Fairbrook likes for breakfast. There's a woman in the corner flicking through files to see if they've got his preferred menu list from years ago when he was at the Foot Hut last.
Yeah, Cauld might walk up to her
Yeah.
and go, "Hi, how you doing?"
She is very sort of... It's quite a hot room anyway, but she's very hot, sweaty, like blustery face. Her hair's all over the place. Like anyone that works in a kitchen will understand. And has gone, what? What? Who are you?
Oh, I'm Cauld. Just checking in on people. You alright?
I've had better breakfast setups. Do you know what Governor Fairbrook has for breakfast?
Not explicitly, but everyone likes cookies.
It's better than anyone else has. Any suggestions anyone else has had? And she sort of shouts it out to the room as they all sort of, for fuck's sake, here we go
I'm
again.
going to turn around the room and go,
If you could feel disdain, you would feel that wave of disdain hit you. Yeah, brilliant. Do you need? Can you do that? Do you need anything? Do you want to? Can you make cookies now?
yeah.
Brilliant. Kitchen's yours.
Oh, you want me to... Got it.
Yeah. Performance check.
While Cauld in the kitchen.
Do I have advantage because of my chef tools?
Yes, you do.
So I've been outside.
Yeah.
Solve Matryn's problem.
Yeah. You're gonna come see.
In my head, I'm thinking, where's Cauld?
It's just a teleport.
Where's Cauld? Need to go check in on him. So I think he's probably gone to the... Sorry.
Yeah.
17, sorry, I just wanted to get
Yeah.
that.
It's probably
Go
going
on
to the kitchen, so head to the kitchen.
Everyone knows what comes to the kitchen.
Couple of seconds before he started doing his
Yeah.
his speech, this when we started making cookies, I was just sort of. Is it just open straight into a kitchen?
Yeah. It's a separate room. Like there's like a low corridor off the main entranceway, and then at the end of that, there's a big kitchen there. Yeah.
So walking in through the door, seeing everyone bustling around, I can see.
Yeah.
So that was crazy out there, right? I mean, he's like still trying to hold back tears. He's like being as blustery as possible because he's so upset.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was blindfolded for a while, and didn't know what was happening. I accidentally went to a different dimension. That was crazy.
You know, like everybody in here is doing their best not to make eye contact with you. They are very, very busy, and now they've had to give up part of their kitchen.
I'm definitely the crazy guy that just walked in. I'm so beat. I'm practically like the homeless person just walked into a place and just gone, yeah, I work here now.
Yeah.
And it was. Sorry, I went into Bobcat Hub a bit there.
But as you're talking, you see you're cold. You don't notice people aren't trying to talk. You're fully aware, not unaware, that people are avoiding your gaze and that. But as you look up and sort of things, you do see your captain walk in the room.
Captain!
You can't necessarily tell Zho-Zho smiling by anything more than the fact you can see it through my eyes. The way that you can tell I'm smiling with my mask from hearing that you reeling off these tales and the way you're just saying it.
My eyes are so red. I'm just trying not to break down.
Cauld.
Mm-hmm.
Save me a cookie, please.
Always, Captain.
Take it easy, and then I'll take my leave.
Brilliant.
Captain Zho-Zho, everyone.
There's like two people over in the corner, like in the pot wash area, going, "Who the fuck is this guy? Like what? Like it's like over the other side. There's like two people that are just like kitchen hands, cutting, like peeling potatoes, going, Is he gonna bring in his own staff? Like, are we? Is this the new head chef guy?
Well, I call him Captain.
Did you do 17 on performance? It's not the best meal you've ever done, but you smashed these cookies. They are a Cauld specialty. They are very, very well cooked, very, very well made. What flavour are they?
I do make enough for the kitchen as well.
Yeah.
Everyone, because obviously everyone deserves one.
Yeah.
Everyone's worked so hard, and it helps the guilt.
Guilt cookies.
They are ginger, stem, and chocolate chip.
Very, very. I need some cookies. As you're doing that, do me a Constitution saving throw to see if you fall asleep.
Oh yeah. Shocks.
You said it.
Shocks wearing off. Oh, sweet. Saving throw. Dirty 20.
You ever been so tired you can't sleep?
He's,
You are that.
He's like.
You're overtired.
Yeah.
Most of us at this table have got kids. You know when your kids are mental at 9 o'clock at night and won't go to bed? Yeah. You've gone full bluey after a daddy put down.
Yeah.
It's alright. Bluey will love the shout out.
We're going to do a D&D episode.
I'd watch Bluey.
100%.
Right, wrap this up. We're doing a Bluey campaign next.
You want to play Dungeons and Dragons?
I'm not even going to attempt it.
No, look, that'll be there somehow. He'll muscle his
Only if fucking Chili's there, mate. I tell you, he's got no interest in anything apart from Chili. Look, his dad. Why hasn't he got a name? We'll be back with you in a minute. Why hasn't he got a name?
Don't know. I've only seen one episode.
Lucky's dad, isn't it?
Just look. Oh, everybody. Lucky calls him Lucky's dad.
Lucky's dad get bingo. Oh, righto. No context. It's
fucking brilliant. It's because he's Bingo's dad, isn't he?
I just like how he gets involved in whatever's going on without knowing what's going on.
On Penn Island, when the egg comes up, when the fucking. Sorry, guys, we will get back to you. But no,
was when a big
10 more minutes for break.
Feather wand going heavy, and he just goes heavy, and he just drops.
Yeah, Ronnie was on about it, wasn't he? Yeah.
Oh, right.
Fucking love Bluey.
It's like either that's happened before, or he's just tuned in.
I think it was Nicole this morning, and I said it's such unrealistic levels of parenting But it's genius, because if the boys come in and go, Dad, heavy, I'd be like, fuck off, Lucas. Try and have a fucking meal here, mate. This burger's not going to eat itself, fucking heavy. Also, you're 13. Go the fuck off.
Also, I hate you.
Not even... I'm not going to say that loud. Yeah,
I hate to, but if Lyra did that when she was older, I'd do it.
You'd do it. I think we all would, really.
Yeah, George does it.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, heavy. Oh, it's heavy. Anyway, go to work. Older. Yeah, carried on the joke. Right, yeah.
He's old.
When are you going to move out? I want to turn your bedroom into a D&D office. Yeah, you have a whale of a time being overtired, over-hyper, over-sensitive, but at the same time desensitized to anyone's actual emotions towards you, making cookies.
Yeah, the adrenaline was about to stop, and then the second wave hit.
Yeah. You are running around this kitchen.
Muffins!
You're like, hey guys, look how fast I can run!
Dad, look! Dad, look! And I look what I can do, and like start thinking like flames.
You just at one point they're all just stood there while you're frying bacon, making a cookie, making muffins, just running around doing everyone's jobs, and at that point they go, to be fair, if he's going to do this every morning, then that makes my life a lot easier. And again, on a 17, perfectly cooks fucking everything.
Yeah, of course.
It'd be even better if he wasn't dashing about but doing his teleport in and out.
Oh, blinking!
Is there a what over the other side of the kitchen? Wait, what?
But after that, I would assume you are going to get some sleep.
I'll probably crash that.
Yeah.
Just on the floor.
So,
There's a baffle blank on it.
I'll just like
And they've got to
curl
keep
up on the
stepping
warm stove.
And they've got to keep stepping over you and stuff like that.
I need to use this.
yeah,
Cauld's out.
Cauld is out cold.
On.
No. Fucking hell.
Out cold.
Out cold. Word of the day.
T-shirts. Word of the day.
Typhus, I believe you would like to go and speak to your mother.
I do.
Your mother has been taken to a very... I don't know if you have high security cells in a medieval era pirate themed fort.
Cauld stood there. That's a high level.
Zho-Zho
But
knew
that-
that Typhus was going to go there, so guards in his mouth.
You're like every time... At one point, Matryn leaves and you're stood there, and when Matryn gets to the new dawn, you're there. Just like, hey Matryn.
Well, I'm assuming there's
It's just
a
there.
least closed cell.
There is... Governor Fairbrook has made a point of putting Lady Fairbrook in the darkest, drabbest cell he can find. It has a single candle, small candle, sort of in the corner, lighting. All the walls are damp and wet, and it's so far down in the dungeons that the floor is earth. There are no stone floors here; it is just earth. He could have put her in one of the bedrooms, station guards, but he wanted to prove a point that he was now in control. She had failed and has put her in the deepest, darkest dungeon cell he could find. How would you like to approach her?
I'm assuming we're talking traditional metal
bars.
Metal bar door, so I can
Yeah.
see in, but
You can see in, yeah, it's literally, like you say, traditional metal bars.
I'm going to approach stealthily, as it were, try not to be immediately noticed, just to see her in this.
Yeah.
Just take the image in.
Roll me stealth with advantage because of the shadowy, dark nature of the rooms.
Oh, that'll be a grand total of 7.
So you
Roll 2 6s.
go onto this is the lowest corridor in the whole. It's more of an empty cavern which has been fashioned into cells, and as you do your best to, even in darkness you are bright blue, but you sneak along, and as you round sort of the corner, like you know that's her cell, but as you come along and you sort of round the corner slowly, she is in the furthest corner away from you, sort of huddled in the corner where the single candle is. She has been stripped of any finery, any sort of regalia, or any sort of... Obviously, all of her weapons and armour and stuff were taken off her on the battlefield by Fairbrook, but she is now in a very plain, very dirty sort of dress. She has no way of moving. She is on the floor, but she has managed to sort of prop herself up against the wall and is sat there. But as she looks up, she does see you approach, and she says, "Come to gloat, son?"
No. Ask a question.
Asking questions. You never really did like an answer I had.
I won't know this one.
But I guess at this point, ask your question.
Why?
Why? Why what? Why I paid trick to betray you? Why did I decide to make this port my plaything? Why did I put so much time and effort into raising someone that turned out to be ungrateful?
No,
Why
I don't
what?
understand.
I don't think you do. Why? Are you asking something specific?
Well, why she and the Obsidian Federation wanted to raise me, and why she was also, what sort of her purpose with the Obsidian Federation is.
You can roll whatever check you would like. So if you're going to, I can't imagine you're going to, but if you're going to try and intimidate her into answers, are you going to try to persuade her?
More persuade.
You could have done deception. You've not been very deceptive.
No.
I mean, you could do animal handling. I don't know if that's going to help.
Shadow puppets.
Okay.
Yeah, straight roll.
That'll be a 13.
A 13.
Yes.
She, even now in defeat, powerless, cold, dark. I nearly nodded at you, and I was like, no. Powerless, cold, dark, wet, sad, defeated. That smug, all-knowing look refuses to leave her face. The look that you hated as a child. The look that says, no matter wherever you think you are, I will be ahead. I know more. I am better.
Then I wanted to do a wisdom saving throw, please.
I don't think I need a character sheet. Give me a sec.
Come on, spot. Not quite.
Wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
15.
Fails. So I cast Detect Thoughts on her.
Detect thoughts. I'm just trying to figure out what.
It's a bit like force and
What level is detect thoughts?
It's just
Surface level.
I'll cast it at third level, but
It's just surface thoughts.
yeah, it's just surface thought. No, because it's surface thought, which you failed a wisdom saving throw, so I'm pushing deeper.
Okay. Initially, you hear the words, "My life for the Federation, my life for the Federation, my life for the Federation," which then slowly merges in. That still keeps saying, "My life for the Federation, my Federation," but then a second of her own voice appears that you hear, "In him we trust, in him we trust, in him we trust, my life for the Federation, in him we trust." And as you push deeper, you push past that, pushing through that, you see your mother, but 30 years younger, in your head. She is standing, she's been able to walk. You can see the first signs of that decrepit and that withered sort of look that she's got, but you, for the first time, you see, actually, my mother was quite a beautiful person when she was younger. She was quite regal. You can see now, you asked your father in the last episode, or the episode before, why he ever married her, but now you're sort of thinking, well, she's all right. Like I can see where this came from. I can almost see why. And as she looks at you, in your head, she says, "When your life is forfeited for the good of the many, following orders is all you have. I did what I did because I was told to do so. You were brought to me as an infant. I did as I was commanded by my superiors, as you follow the orders given by yours," and in your mind's eye, Zho-Zho's sort of a picture of Zho-Zho, not like a live one, but just that's what she remembers seeing in the battlefield was Zho-Zho. "They commanded me to raise you. They commanded me to train you, to teach you, no matter what happens. All I have ever been told is one thing. Typhus is the key. In him we trust. I will, if you want, allow you to... If you, we'll try and see if she can save again. And if she fails, we can push deeper if you'd like. It will cost you another spell slot if you've got one.
Yeah, that will be my 4th level spell slot gone. But
Are you sure?
yeah.
It's up to you.
I turned up to 11. So did you say you cast it at 3rd first?
I have to use a 3rd level spell slot, yes.
So now you're doing it on 4th.
Yeah.
So it's
At 14, which is less than the last one, so I'm guessing she'll fail again.
Yeah.
So this, as you force through again, and you pass, sort of, not physically, but in your emotion, you blast past that away, and that vision of your mother sort of explodes into sort of an inky fucking swirl as you go through her. And again, you see another vision of your mum now, again, a little bit younger. It's just a beautiful woman. She has, it's not a crown, because they were never, even though they called themselves the royals of Mandalay, they were never a royal family. They are the governors and the governesses, but she has this sort of tiara, a status symbol, while she has this beautiful sort of over-the-top regalia, not dark and decrepit like you saw her, like she is on the battlefield. This is more airy. This is more of a young woman who's out there to be noticed and out there to be seen by people. And this one, without breaking stride from what the previous one said, carries on talking to you. You were brought to me as an infant, a baby. But you were more than just a baby. You were a prisoner, taken from Rockcliffe Bay as the king fell. Your life became more important to us than even my own. You were the key. In him we trust. When you left, I had to make sure my position in the Federation was safe. So I turned the fort into an outpost for the Federation and made myself formidable. She'll adjust her demeanour to be more smug and arrogant as that same look that she had in person comes through on her face in your mind. Now let me ask you something. Do you know what it is? This thing, this calling, this destiny that you're so eager to follow to find. Do you know what it is?
Typhus will just remain stoic and silent while still maintaining the spell, while she to see what thoughts come through her mind.
You are so sure, so adamant that this is the journey you are needing to be on, that this is your destiny. You have no idea what awaits you, should you even reach Isla de la Boveda Dorada.
Bless you.
I'll tell you in a minute. Do you? You have no idea. What if it's not for you? What if you are so desperate that you decided to leave to follow this destiny? What if all you were actually doing was running away rather than running to something?
Then, with a bitter smile, I say, in me you trust, and I cast Shape Water on what I'm assuming is quite a damp woman.
Yes.
To freeze all that water molecules to ice and walk away.
She is freezing cold and just sits there shivering. As you have not frozen her, no. She's just very, very cold, but that freezing, that effect of making her huddle up and sour, you realise that you have frozen that smug look onto her face as you walk away. But what you also did do was put out the candle, leaving her in darkness in the bottom cell.
Flop.
I'm assuming that you all made a decision to sort of come back the next morning. Does everyone want a long rest?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah? Do you want to have a long rest? Josh, you can't. You got to stay up all night.
Do I still have a long rest in notebooks first in the kitchen?
Yeah. Well, did you sleep for 8 hours in the kitchen?
I did.
Nobody dared go near him. He was a crazy
What, the
guy?
guy lighting fires up with his fingers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can all long rest.
No one wake him. He'll just talk again.
Yeah, at one point somebody goes, there's a weird silence. Oh, it's because Cauld stopped talking.
I didn't introduce myself yet. He just never said my name. Just there.
Jake says tigers and toques.
Tigers and Tooks!
Tigers and Tooks.
Why do you know what it means?
I know what time is until
He'll know what it
Tell
means.
that one.
No, I don't
Don't bother me.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
PB
It's the last series.
I not watched that series.
Fucking awesome.
so good.
Make you cry, bitch.
You do a long rest. In the morning, you will all be sort of... Summoned isn't the right word because you're your own people. Do what you want. You're a strong, independent crew. You don't need no man. But you will all be asked to attend a meeting with Fairbrook and his generals, his people, his men. On the way, you guys... Because you're all staying in different rooms. You've all got, like, different places. You fell asleep in a kitchen. You're on the New Dawn.
Finding this alcohol.
You manage to find a drink, and you have a drink, and you drink with the crew that night. You have a good night. Passing out in somebody's room. Did you go into Zho-Zho's?
No.
Okay. You have a good night. You have a laugh with the boys. You tell them the tales of what's just happened, and the next morning you wake up and you start heading towards back in. You don't know people are meeting, but you're heading back into town.
Can I be like
to come back to the fort?
Talking about like the whole unicorn thing, and like after I've had a few drinks, and the manager's like, "What's he on about a unicorn?
You are that drunk that you are sprouting stories that they are. You do this a lot with the crew. You are one of the boys, but you're also the boy that became the boss. You know when your mate becomes the gaffer, and you're like, well, you don't really be amazed anymore. So they've got a bit of disdain for you, but you do drink them quite a lot. All right.
I thought it was going to be like a hangover thing, like Matryn goes missing. It's like, where is he? He's up in the crow's nest, but we just don't think about that.
He's been there the entire time. On your way back through town, you are walking through now what is a completely put out fire, but still a little bit of smoke in the air, still a little billowing, sort of ashes, and the remnants of what used to be a town square is now seemingly a bigger town square because as a row of buildings have been set on fire. And you do me a perception check. See nothing. You make your way back in, get back, go through it. You take another longing look at the bar that was there, and you head back in and head towards. For the sake of this, we will call a war room. It's more like a general meeting room. It's quite grand. It's got a big sort of table. Every room in this place has got real royally decorated.
Before Typhus heads to the war room, he's going to go out to the square, look at the ruins of what was the tavern, try and locate where Trick's room was, and try and see if he can get his 100 gold back that he left there.
Do me an investigation check.
That'd be a nope. That's 8.
Everything. If that bag of gold is still there, you can't find it. It's under a mountain of broken and burnt wooden beams and bricks and stone and all sorts. You heading back in?
Yeah, I'll head back to the war room.
You head back to the war room. Cauld, you wake up in the kitchen, slightly confused.
I'd like to think that Dara's trying to get me up.
Dara is at like the hem of your trousers, like pulling to sort of try and drag you to this meeting that you know is meant to happen, and then you wake up.
Yeah,
and you're very confused and dazed.
Just reaching over. Let's go.
Wasn't a cookie.
A whole potato.
It was
Dara.
just a handful of oil, which you wouldn't have been bothered by because you've got fire resistance. And then you head back over to you head into the meeting.
I'll try find a way.
Yeah, you can as you come out of the kitchen, you can see. You do me a perception check.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. 17.
As you come out of the kitchen and you go along like the long corridor that led to the kitchen, and then that comes out onto sort of the entrance hall area that's inside the fort. It's not in the courtyard bit where the blacksmith was. It's inside. As you come out to that, you see Matryn walk past, go towards a room. So you decide he must know where he's going. Follow him. But behind Matryn, about 30 paces behind, there is a group of people coming in that even Cauld stops and goes, oh, as a very sort of average-looking height, but a very sort of dressed elegantly, but yet in a sort of cutthroat manner is a rabbit with grey fur and a sort of tricorn hat on the top of his head. Behind him is sort of what appears to be like a blue lizard man with a long like fucking cloak on and a hood pulled down over. There is what appears to be a sort of decaying zombie carrying a trident among them, as well as they're desperately trying to remember people's characters from I Spy, as well as a very short looking sort of heavily built armoured dwarf who's chirping on about how he used to live in a fort like this and he had all these men at his disposal and he knows his way around this place and he knows how to deal with the people that live here. And I can't remember what Thanatar looks like. Do you want to tell me what Thanatar looks like?
Purple tiefling.
Yeah,
Purple
tiefling.
Yeah.
Wearing a white red kilt.
And then with the last person in that party being a sort of tall, sort of like maybe on a par with the zombies looking guy, tall tiefling, purple in skin, wearing a red kilt. And then about 10 feet behind them walks a steel like automaton sort of like a very typical robot walk, as I can't remember what the Smith looks like.
Yeah, his basing was made of like metal and wood and stuff. He was a construct.
Okay, so then behind the sort of steel automaton is sort of a construct of random bits of wood and steel and a bit of greenery and a bit of anything you can think of that might have been chucked in to create this being is walking behind them. Clearly all chatting. Is clearly stood back from the group, bored out of his mind with the stories of nobility from the dwarf.
You self-serving fuckers.
Do you want to add a member?
No, it's fine.
And they
himself.
just Lloyd.
Who was the other one that got summoned? The other rabbit.
He's dead.
Oh, is he?
Kinran's dead.
Deadpool, where they're recruiting everyone, there's just that normal guy. They're just Lloyd as well.
So they are following. You're not going to get to play him. It's just this is the other crew. I think I'm giving you all a second character to worry about. They're just that's the crew.
Cameo. Here's this group of people and God as well.
There's just a man with a notebook following them. So this sort of ragtag odd group of people following the same way Matryn goes. So you're going to follow them? You're going to go the sort of same direction as everyone else?
Well, I'm going to make eye contact with Matryn. Yeah. Matryn. And then carry on.
Yeah, so you follow the same way.
Good? Yeah.
We will need to talk.
Good boy yesterday. I think.
Same to you.
I think. Oh.
You were there, you weren't there. I don't know what really happened.
Yeah. Abandonment.
Oh.
Mainly.
Well, we need to talk. But we'll talk later.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get to Zho-Zho.
Agreed.
So you guys head off
Mm-hmm.
towards the arranged, like the war room you're all meeting at. Chiron, as you leave your room, you open the door, like come out the door, shut it behind you, ready to leave, and your room was directly opposite Zho-Zho's. So as you sort of come out the rooms at the same time,
Our eyes meet.
as your eyes meet across the hallway, and my mind's telling me no,
One of you singles back to your room going,
but my body.
Just leaves the door open.
And you back into your room. No, but you come out. You come out of your bedroom and you see your captain leaving as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at Zho-Zho and be like, Zho-Zho, I have a situation I'd like to talk to you about.
Speak freely.
As you recall, while we were in the fort, I searched a chest and there was a substantial amount of gold inside. I was wondering how you would want to divvy it up between the group.
That's a good question.
Submit a 60-40. Yeah. We'll get that.
We'll put a VAT form in and then we'll get
Is that tax? National insurance?
We'll get a BACS form and I'll pay back in a bit.
Yeah, raise a PO and then we'll get that signed off by Claire Ashley. Jobs are good.
Yeah, we'll get started. Go get it through HR.
Don't talk to me about it.
Yeah. You can have that money, but you got to do a level 4. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It was right there. It was right there.
Oh no, wait, hang on.
Right, sorry, I'll cut that. Carry on.
It sounded like it was outside. That was impressive.
Yeah.
Good question, Chiron. Have you how much was it exactly?
Altogether, besides the money that I had before, there's 4,000.
4,000. I think it would only be fair for you to keep some. You found it. I would say keep 1,500 for yourself. The rest, I would ask, could be just put into the coffers for everyone else to use as and when needed. But ultimately, the decision will lie with you, and I will have no misgivings if you decide to keep it all.
And hearing that, little does he know is already, before I took my rest, is already divvied it up.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, I've used what I need. I'm not going to need any more than this, and I'm going to pull out a pouch of 1,000 and give it to Zho-Zho.
Mm-hmm.
And then pull out another 3 pouches, each holding 1,000, like 3 more pouches, and this will be for the others. And I'll hand it to Zho-Zho to keep on.
Pass on.
So that leaves me with the 245 I had prior to finding and buying the breastplate.
Okay, very noble.
You're a good man, Chiron, thank you.
So you guys have been walking and talking on your way down to the meeting. You walk into this room where the rest of your crew are awaiting you. It is a huge room, cavernous in size, sort of white marble floor with pillars that sort of hold up the ceiling. They're probably not needed to hold up the ceiling. But then every sort of pillar, every sort of piece of, like every sort of so many feet along the wall, there are intricate golden designs adorned with different rubies and lapises and diamonds and jades and emeralds and all sorts in this big extravagant room. There is a gigantic circular table in the middle where Fairbrook sits directly opposite the door with his 2 advisors, Critchley and Grexis either side, and along one side of the table sits the crew of the Cunning Foss, Captain Bran Nauro and his men, and where your crew is awaiting you on the other side of the table. It's very poignant that this is a circular table. In your escapades of the night before, whatever you guys are up to, if anybody did come in this room, you would have noticed that the circular table was not there last night. It has been newly put into this room as a symbol of there is no head of this table. Fairbrook will rise as you walk in, gesture to your seat and ask, "So what now, gentlemen?"
Zho-Zho's going to unclip,
Mm-hmm.
untie all the ropes that hold his mask in place, take it off, place it on the table. Following that, we're going to take off.
Yeah.
Part of his helmet, place that on the table as well. We are here. We have been on this journey for a purpose. We have pieces of a much larger puzzle, I believe, Governor Fairbrook, and I would ask that everyone around this table helps us decipher what they lead to.
Before we look at the pieces of your puzzle, allow me to speak on matters of a wider nature. I have limited knowledge of what the journey you're on, and in all honesty, last night I told you everything I know regarding my son, his origin, and what may be leading to. It has been no secret in the past that I have been sympathetic to the causes and the way of life in Rockcliffe Bay. Almost envious. However, as a man of honour and duty, my honour and my duty to these people here must come first. In light of helping you, we will do everything we can to assist you. As I mentioned last night, the port of Mandalay is yours in whatever way you need us. But further to that, when all of this is said and done, when the dust has settled and whatever happens, when the die is cast, Port Mandalay will be an ally to Rockcliffe Bay. Not only sympathetic, but an ally and a partner in their way of life. If you manage to make it back to Rockcliffe Bay, Captain Narrow has information for you. If you manage to make it back to Rockcliffe Bay, please consider us an ally.
If you want to show that alliance, before we set off to come here, Rockcliffe Bay defended us and helped us by letting us get out of the port. Now we sent word to our other ship. We don't know if it got there, but we wanted to go defend it. And they could use an assistance from a place like this as a refuge, as a means of arming and helping stop the blockade. And if you're truthful about the alliance, then we need to help you get back on your feet so you can help get Rockcliffe out of the help it needs.
Before Fairbrook can answer, a fist will be slammed on the table, and not fully to his feet, but sort of leaning on the table and standing a little bit, Captain Bran Nalro will stand looking directly at you. Do me a perception check. Okay.
You've got 1 in 20 chances in it was.
Was it a 2?
5 perception.
You don't not really notice anything about the other party. You've met these guys before, by the way. They're another crew of Rockcliffe. Bran will stand up and look around and go, "We heard about your second ship. We heard about it as we heard that it had sank. To put things plainly, forgive me, brother, but sending a solitary ship to aid against a military blockade seemed a bit reckless."
Zho-Zho will stay sat in his seat. I can do nothing more than agree with you, Captain. I wish not to bore you with the tome of regret that is now piling up in my mind and shoulders, and on my shoulders of the people I lose. However, I will not be held accountable for the actions I took in trying to help from someone who did not do anything themselves.
To your knowledge.
And enlighten me, rabbit.
Do a an Arcana check for me, please.
It's a 14.
On hearing the news that your second ship that you only acquired recently had sunk, and then the people on board and the crew on board had seemingly because of that perished, that weight of regret and loss and the weight on your shoulders, like you mentioned to Bran, mounts up. But what you do start to feel in your eye, which is white, so I believe, pure white, there is a tingling, more like, I don't like doing that. Well, when you get pins and needles real bad.
Yeah.
So like that for 2 seconds, sharp pains just from the back of that white eye, which then disappears as quickly as they come.
Just wince. and blood to get rid of it.
But I think that's the first time you've noticed that. Bran sort of sits back in his chair and leans back. Enlighten you. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I was some hero that single-handedly fought against the Obsidian Federation. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be on some noble quest sent down from the gods. However, some of us remained, and some of us got some people to safety. You thought that Mandalay was bad when you arrived here. Rockcliffe has fallen. And he's going to tell you about what's happening at Rockcliffe at the minute. As somebody that has recently left, the crew that has recently left, managed to find a way out. So there is currently a full occupation of Rockcliffe Bay. The Obsidian Federation has moved forces in. They have moved. They have a 5-ship war galleon ship blockade on the harbour. Nothing can get in, nothing can get out. There are also 1 or 2 ships patrolling sort of the outer areas around the port, around the island. Majority of the island, remember, is jungle, is forest. It's very uninhabitable, but there are where there might be a way in. There is a ship nearby patrolling, watching the comings and goings. There are everybody in the port has either fled in the bay. Sorry, has either been fled, been imprisoned, been killed, or has been put to work. Is the official line from the Obsidian Federation? Is that anyone there must work to make the bay legitimate, make the bay fully operational, make the bay a legitimate. I forgot the word. A legitimate colony of the Obsidian Federation. They want everybody to know that this port is no longer a pirate haven. It is no longer a pirate republic. This is a place where people can come to work and earn a living. That's what they're telling people. What Bran's telling you is that isn't happening. People, if they don't fall in line, are being killed, imprisoned, taken away. People have disappeared. We've not spoken. Nobody has seen Calroon since the day you guys left. He led the distraction. He led the initial rebellion, which let you guys escape from the port. No one's seen him since. No one's seen Norwood, another one of the Pirate Council. Nobody's seen any of the Pirate Council out in person. There are 1 or 2 members who are hiding in plain sight. As I said, you guys know that the way the council runs, there are council members, but the actual people that sit on the council are representatives of them. So anyone that's been able to keep their actual identity a secret or their location a secret, maybe they've been hiding in Rockcliffe for a while and nobody knows where they are anyway. Some people like that are still in hiding. Whether they've escaped, whether they've been found and killed, nobody knows. They've just not been seen.
I was going to say, can I ask if, because Brandon said that they got people out, if there was anybody of note that they got out?
It's been more helping the people. The good thing is about the port we all call home is anybody of note is quite handy. You don't get to be quite a person of note in Rockcliffe Bay unless you can handle yourself, unless you've got a bit between the noggin so that you can figure it out. So on the whole, some people have been able to fight for themselves. Some of us aren't. We've been able to get people that run the shops, run the bars. They're out and safe. And I know what you're going to think, Chiron. Nobody's seen her. Or Alfina.
Could I then say, has there been any word of Carver as well?
He smirks, and as one of his crew sort of puts a drink down in front of him, he'll take a sip of that drink and go, Carver. Carver LaRue has been on that island longer than that island's been an island. It's going to take a lot more than Obsidian Federation to get him out. No, nobody's seen him, but I can't imagine they've had a best of times getting to him either. For all we know, Carver's fine. Carver's Carver.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. I have got more interesting news for you, though.
Okay.
Like I said, no one's seen Skady. Nobody's seen Ralphina. But what we have seen is her ship. which isn't, well, more to the point, we've not seen her ship. Which means the Reverie has left, and I can't imagine she's let it leave without her. So a word to the warning, it would appear that the Black Soul is back on the water again. Just something to think about, old friend.
I appreciate it.
That's all I've got for you. Me and the crew are going to stay here and keep me on camera and assist Fairbrook. Like your man here said, so rightfully said, they're going to need all the help they can get. And until we can get a military in here, me and the boys are going to have to do. But what I will say, brother to brother, if you're planning an attack, if you're planning to go back, Cunning Foss will come with you. And he'll slide a sort of, it's not a marker, very clear it's not a marker, but it's like a gold coin, about that big. And then in the middle of it, like in enamel, just on top, there is a black circle. Like the gold's got intricate design on it and stuff, but then there is a matte black circle with Brand's Jolly Roger flag of the crossbones and then the rabbit skull with the ears. And he will slide that over to you and then pull one from his pocket to indicate that he's got one. It's nothing flash, it's a send insane. But when you send me the call, the boys will be there to back you up as well.
Brown, and all the times I've heard your stories and escapades and adventures, I've had nothing but respect for you. And I cannot say that your appearance here and the way you are today has dented that reputation you have with me. You have lived up to everything I knew you to be. And Zho-Zho will stand up and will reach to his waist.
Mm-hmm.
And will
draw.
No.
50 cal versus
50 cal versus 50 cal.
We'll start untying the rope that holds one of his swords to his waist.
Mm-hmm.
It's all sheaths and everything, and we'll slide that across the table to Brown. We'll say that your coin, you may think is nothing fancy, this is just a sword, but take it as a thanks and take it as a sign of friendship from one captain to another.
Appreciated, friend. And as he sort of stands back up, he will take it and sort of roughly, like not with the elegance or the precision that you have for having used these sort of weapons for years, but will tie it around his own waist. It hangs to his side. He will look round at his crew and at Fairbrook and go, I believe you do not need us for the next bit. My men will take up positions and try and train whoever you've got together for us. And his crew will get up to leave him. And as he gets to the door, he takes a step and stops and looks down to Matryn and goes, you know what? When I sat down in here today, I didn't think you'd be the voice of reason. You're not the man that JP described to me. And he will walk out. What was it?
one.
Roll on. Give me a roll.
D20.
No. 100.
100. Side note, while looking at that, what's mine been doing this entire time?
it's with him.
Is it? It's of course going to be there.
54.
Tulane.
That was 64.
I know.
What?
54.
Guys.
That means I go down to a D6 as well because it was a 1. I'd actually already rolled once in this conversation.
Hang on. Let me just make sure I'm reading the table right.
Oh, that's never a good sign.
No, because there's 3 columns. 54.
54.
So he says, you're not the man JP told me you were. Smiles and steps out. And as you feel that surge and that rage hit you, the last time you were truly, truly outplayed, all of your long hair slowly disintegrates from the top of your head as all of your hair falls out around you and lands on the floor around you. Matryn sits there, furious, red in the face, and as bold as Stone Cold Steve Austin himself. You are a bold, bold man now.
One punch man. One baseman.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's what happened. That's the roll of the magic tower.
Good luck for you. Jesus Christ.
Is that permanent?
Yeah.
It grows back.
It said, hang on, I'll read it out.
It's a life choice.
All of your hair permanently falls out. Only a spell such as Remove Curse can end this effect.
So it is permanent.
So it's permanent until somebody can remove.
Matryn the dolphin.
Let me just add that.
You are completely hairless.
Right.
Just
So Fairbrook will stand and look directly at his son and say, did you get what you came to the port for?
and I will produce the rolled up
Parchment.
parchment, and I will also produce the spyglass as well. Going, I believe these are linked.
I believe you may be correct. And I also believe it would be inappropriate for anyone else to see what they do.
I will, assuming that I'm sat alongside the rest of the crew, I will ask Chiron nicely just to hold the scroll while I look through it. And
As you-
put the spyglass up against my eye.
Brilliant. What's Typhus' sort of mindset at the minute? Where is he? What in terms of what he wants to find, do, achieve? What is he feeling?
He, like everybody, he feels that the general consensus of the crew is we obviously want Rockcliffe Bay back to be the paradise that it was for us,
Yep.
but equally he still wants to go after the goal that Zho-Zho set out for us, to go on that journey and find whatever this leads to. So he's also going, hoping that that is something that is that could help us in this endeavour. So he's looking for whatever is hidden in this map, while also trying to find a solution to help Rockcliffe Bay. Is what he's
Right. So if you had to describe your sort of what emotion you're feeling in this moment, what would you describe that as? If you had to put a word on it.
curiosity.
Curiosity. You
Points will get scrapped on that.
you hold this spyglass up to your hand, up to your eye, and you once again feel how light it is. It is almost, as you hold it there, it is almost sort of levitating in your hands, like just millimeters off, just so that you can just support it as you look at it. You feel a warm sort of wave come over you, starting at the top, starting at the point where it sort of touches your eye, spreading across your head and your skull and down your shoulders and down your body, as the lines and the symbols on the scroll, which were flashing different colours, begin to sort of speed up and slow down and swirl around each other. You feel in your hands the spyglass start twisting and turning, the different parts of it sort of aligning, until a moment in you notice that the rate and the speed of them are at the same rate and speed of the colours. And in your head, when you think about Rockcliffe and you think about you wanting to help them, and you think about if there's an answer there, can you overcome the Obsidian Federation? And then you think about this journey and the way you've come so far and the curiosity you've got as to where it can lead. You feel the spyglass sort of lock into place as a deep sort of gold and green, like the colours that were changing in the eyeglass become a deep gold into sort of almost a green. And on the parchment in front of you, the same colours lined up, showing a island that has water around it for as far as the eye can see. There is not a pinprick on the horizon or anything, but there is a solitary island about 100 feet in diameter. It's not an exact circle, but to either side, with a solitary building on top. It is a, for want of a better word, cottage with sort of a fence around it and a little chimney that's puffing smoke and a intricate sort of sign that hangs over the door that reads Mother Idol's Tea Rooms. And then it stops and starts swirling again as the thing in your hand, your eyeglass in your hand, starts spinning again.
Okay.
Anything else? It would seem that is... If you are curious about the future, and curious about where this leads, there seems to at least be another Mother Idol's tea rooms that you might need to attend.
Okay. Does Typhus get the sense that his emotions affect it, or
As you've said it, yes. How you are feeling and how you are... The path that you would like to pursue
okay.
has shown you what you want, or how to get where you need to be.
That's fine.
The last thing, sorry, on that, you do see the island. You're also seeing like how to get there.
Okay.
It's not just here's an island somewhere. It's your knowledge of maps, your knowledge paired with this, paired with the emotion you're feeling, has said this is where you need to be. This is how you get there. You now have a bearing to get there.
Okay. So then I will relay to the crew, to everybody present.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think Mother Idol's got some information for us, and she's got another way of communicating with her. So.
Who's that?
Oh, I never talked to you, did I, Carl? I'll introduce you. You'll like her. She owns a tea room. And then I will turn to Zho-Zho and go, we've got to head in.
And then it would appear our next steps are decided.
Fairbrook will rise with a sort of look around the room at each individual person and say, if there's anything you need from us, as mentioned, please ask. Captain Zho-Zho, before you leave, a moment of your time.
Of course.
Fairbrook will motion for you to follow him. Is there anything people want to do before we move on from the scene?
Are you going to give the goal out now or not?
Yeah, I can give it out now.
In front of Bran and all that. Like,
No, Bran's gone. Bran's left.
So,
I was going to are we going straight after this? Oh no, as in next steps, and are we going straight away onto the new door, or are we still going to be in the port?
It's up to you guys. If you want things to do before you go, if you want set up, I suppose we could set up off camera if need be, but
yeah, I was going to say because
we don't need to role play you going to
shop.
buy shops and buy stuff.
So that's basically what I want to do.
Yeah. So if we we could do that off camera and then
Yeah, that's fine.
But
We'll just go at the start of that. So go, you grab.
what you got, yeah.
in that case, Cauld is going to walk up to leave the room and give Matryn the biggest slap on the head, on his bald head.
Roll to attack.
It's not to inflict damage.
I know, but you still got to see if you hit him. I made him for the headbutt.
Oh shit. It's 5.
I'm gonna say you miss his head.
slides it off.
I feel like the kind of whoosh on my head.
Yeah, you.
Can I then in response? Because as he's on, and I feel the whoosh go over my head because I know what he's trying to do. Can I just go for like a little gentle kick on his back?
Roll to attack.
9.
No, that misses as well. You two are the prominent forces of the of battle of the New Dawn, and you will either spend all night attacking each other, or do not hit each other when you try.
I hadn't finished. Because I was just slap on the head and say, "Some drink."
You can still, as
I
you,
missed.
he's missed you.
Tempted to.
That's some drink.
Yeah, he missed you.
You guys,
We will drink and talk.
You open a door off of this room you're in, which goes into a corridor, which then opens like another door, which leads somehow. Whatever you were running around in the kitchen last night, you paid attention to something because you knew that's how you got to the kitchen. But as you get to the kitchen leading Matryn, you open another door where there is a fully stocked cellar of wines and ales and everything, which Matryn was unable to find the night before.
Why do I feel like we're in like an old person's time where around so don't get confused?
Easy, innit?
Just
It
before
was a sewing kit.
I leave with Cauld, obviously Zho-Zho's passed me gold,
Mm-hmm.
and as I grab as he's giving me the gold, as I'm like leaving the room, I look at Fairbrook and go, I know we didn't have the best of first introductions. I just give my 1,000 gold.
He will catch it in there and just nod politely and put it into his own pockets.
Just go, the fuck?
Yeah, sure. The richest man in the world. Give me more money.
Fucking conservatives.
That's for the port, like.
Yeah, I know it's for the port, don't worry.
Yeah. I will turn to Chiron and go, should we head out to leave them to the room and go do some errands and stuff?
I'm going to head up to my room first.
Just so you know, Fairbrook is going to take Zho-Zho somewhere.
Yeah, I'll just say I'll meet you shortly. I've just got to sort something. And then I'm going to head off to my room.
Mm-hmm.
And when I get to my room, I'm going to go in and sort of shut the door, but sort of stay leant against it, like my head against it, hands against it. And sort of reflect on what was said in the meeting, what Bran told Chiron. And at the time, even though he seemed a bit nonchalant about it, it's because obviously, other than Zho-Zho, the crew doesn't know about Skadi, so he was sort of trying to downplay the importance of it. You know, that's why he asked about Carver, you know, as a more pressing concern. But what was said really got to him. And as I mentioned before, now with his magic, there's like little traces of electric starting to appear around even his nature-based stuff. On his hand, as it's pressed up against the door, the electric's going to grow as it does, but a bit more intense and brighter than it was before. Like Vic says, he's gaining a bit more power with this stuff he's been gifted. It's growing, and it's just going to have more electric build up and then just slam it into the door as it just yells into it. Just out of sheer rage and frustration of what is heard, you know, that Ralphina's vanished.
On the sea.
Yeah.
Roll to hit. I've made everyone else roll to hit.
Oh, mate, you have to buy a new door.
And we all know the doors in this place are 1,000 hits.
Zho-Zho handles my finances. What would it be? Just an unarmed hit?
Yeah.
How much gold do you have?
1,000 each.
That's a small plus 3. 18.
Yeah, you hit it, and you don't quite break or smash through it, but it is a loud clatter into it as you angrily punch this door. If we had a camera and this was a scene, you would punch the door, and as you lift your head back up, you would see the electric sort of flaring in your eyes for the first time as we cut away. We cut back to the main war room where Fairbrook has asked Captain Zho-Zho to accompany him. He will sort of head over to a door at the back in like a far corner and open it and lead you into a corridor. As you walk down this corridor, you can see the same sort of golden intricate designs, like almost like a line that leads across, like a golden thread through the side that leads like down the corridor. But on your left hand side, you'll notice that every 10 or so feet there are big velvet curtains, like a dark blue, like a rich blue colour, that as Fairbrook steps in front of, they part and open. And he gets to the first one and says, these curtained areas here show portraits of the previous governors and their families. This is quite basically named our Hall of History. This man here was my grandfather. I forgot his name. This one here was my grandfather Franz Fairbrook, who was the first royal governor of this port. He starts to walk, and as he gets to the next one opens, and then he keeps going a bit further down, and the next one opens, and you notice that they remain open, showing these. They're not paintings; they're mosaics. Somebody has taken the time to put, almost like grains of sand, put these art pieces of artwork together. Every now and again, they're not fully moving portraits like Harry Potter style, but there's a little bit of sway in the breeze behind them. These are magical portraits that you can tell that there is. They're not like there are magic. There's magic there. That adds depth to it. Adds character. Each one of these portraits depicts the succession from father to son, all the way down, and he stops at the penultimate one, which opens to reveal himself, a very young version of himself next to a very young and beautiful woman, who you can just see the resemblance. It's Lady Fairbrook on his hip, and by his knee is a very blue-faced young boy, all the way down to myself. I am once again governor of this port, and for a long time I didn't think that was the case. When my wife acted the way that she acted and I was forced to flee my role, I didn't see an opportunity for that to be resolved. I didn't see a way back, and I thought my time as the ruler and as the law in this place was at an end. But yesterday, last night, technically this morning, you and your men came to the aid of a man who didn't seem to want it. I'm not going to stand here and thank you over and over. I'm not going to stand here and admit I was wrong again and again and again. We're both men of great intellect. We can appreciate that of each other. The thing with Port Mandalay is that for nearly 120 years, a Fairbrook has been on the throne. Sorry, I hate the term throne. A Fairbrook has been in governance here. From the high punch of my grandfather, and you see a light sort of come on where the previous one he showed you of his grandfather, sort of glowing a bit, when he originally founded the port, and the riches and the spoils that followed, all the way down to the darker times of up until a few hours ago. A Fairbrook has been in governance here and in control. My wife, as evil and twisted and underprepared that she is a Fairbrook nonetheless. He carries on walking, takes a few more steps where he gets to the last portrait on the wall, and as you see the curtains open, there is no portrait. It is a blank sort of. For the first time in the entirety of you being in Port Mandalay, you see a brick wall. There is no elegance, there is no design, there is no intricacies, but there is an empty wall. I must now ask too much of you as a man of honour and respect. In order for the people of Mandalay to once again see the riches and the spoils of adventure and war and exploration, there must be a Fairbrook. I'm an old man and will not be here forever. And as sort of the lights go out that came on before, you see for the first time in 12, 15, 18 hours of seeing him, you see the old man with time and etched on his face, with the scars of being in hiding and running for his life and losing his son and then finding his son. All of these emotions are etched on his face, as you see in his eyes. There must be a Fairbrook at Mandalay. So I must ask this of you. You must send my son home. Not now. He must continue this journey. He must find out who he is. But when all is said and done, when all the dust is settled, I'm asking you, as a father, and as someone I hope is a friend, send my son home. Send him home to me, send him home to his family, and send him home to his people.
All the people, all of the men, brothers on my ship, we believe in each other, we follow one another. We are almost a family, as you have shown me yours. I have shown you mine. In a different time. Yours were illuminated beautifully in this corridor. Mine were illuminated last night in the fires in Whitfield. I respect where you're coming from. And as I said, we're all on a journey. However, each of my men are equally on their own journey. I can make no promise wholeheartedly that Typhus will choose to come back, because that will be what is posed to him, a choice. I will talk to him and I will encourage him to follow the right path.
That is all I can ask of you. However, believe it or not, that is not the reason I chose to show you this corridor. And as he clicks a finger, the dead end at the end of the corridor opens to reveal a new room. As you step inside this new room, the sheer volume of shimmering light that hits your eyes forces you to sort of put a hand up and just give yourself a moment while your eyes, even through your mask, if you take a moment and attune. Around the side of this perfectly square room, no bigger than what we're sat in now, there are a series of treasures and artifacts, all on little plinths, all with maybe hovering 3-4 inches off the ground, like levitating above them. There are a number of different spears with different jewels encrusted in them. There are some quite like daggers and short blades and even sort of great swords, all again with intricate designs in, all sort of almost sizzling and sort of sparking as you look at them. In the corner there is a suit of full armour that you look at, and then as you move your head it vanishes. So you move your head back and it comes back again. And next to that there is more and more sort of encrusted jeweled shields, the biggest shield you've ever seen. And then there is another shield that seems to be humming almost, and as you get nearer to it for a second it hums louder, and then you come away. As your eyes sort of adjust to the room, you see that Fairbrook has not had to cover his eyes, and he has walked directly to the middle of the room and spun around to look at you, where in the centre of the room stands a single pillar of about 3 feet with another levitating sort of thing above it. And as you look at it, and you see from the top, as your eyes go from the top to the bottom, you see a sheath of a blade that looks like somebody has managed to sort of freeze smoke and then mould this smoke into a pouch for a weapon with gold sort of thread holding the two sides together. And in the middle, on the way up, there is 6 precisely placed blue gemstones, sort of emitting, not glowing, but sort of that bright and perfect emitting. And as your eyes get to the top of the blade, you see Fairbrook's hand wrap around it and lifts it down, and he holds this blade in his hand, perfectly balanced across one hand, as he gets hold of it again and unsheaths it to reveal a pure silver, almost reflective surface of this blade, this thin, elegant blade. He sort of whips it around effortlessly, as you have not seen anybody do since you left the Eastern Isles, and sort of spin it around and hold out the hilt to you, which is again more blues, a deep navy blue velvet sort of handle, which is topped by a solid steel pommel, which is the same sort of reflective steel as the blade, but which is shaped into that of a head of a drake, with 2 very small but very perfect blue gemstones emitting light from the handle. As he holds it out to you, he says, "Let's have some fun. Do you believe in fate?" And that's the end of today's episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you guys for joining me around the table. That was you are going the right way for some for a smack bottom. I fought so hard not to say that. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you're enjoying where this is going. Thank you guys just around the table for joining me. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to find out what happens on the next leg of our journey. Full disclosure, we're going to do a little bit of stuff off camera in terms of buying, the more mundane buying of things and restocking of ingredients and potions and that. We don't need another hour and a half of these guys going shopping like we had in Rockcliffe. We'll be back in 2 weeks to find out what happens next. See you then.
Take it easy.